Hello everyone, welcome to Believers IAS Academy, and in this today's video we will be discussing about the Vice President of India, his role, powers and his election process in brief. As you all know, we're discussing this topic because of one news that we received yesterday, that the Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar Sir has given his resignation to the post of Vice President and citing health concerns. Of course, this is not the very first time that has happened in India. We had 3 more vice presidents resigning from their post even before completing their tenure. Of course, from the examinations point of view, it is important to know the role and responsibility of a vice president, especially in India. And since we are talking about that, we will discuss about the dual constitution role awarded on the vice president, that is the legislative role and the executive role that he functions. So talking about the first legislative role, we also know that the vice president is an ex-officio chairman of the Rajya Sabha, meaning which he is the presiding officer of the Rajya Sabha, who maintains the order, neutrality, the decorum of the upper house, and he also ensures that he acts as a tiebreaker during of course he doesn't have a casting vote, or of course he has a casting vote. He acts as a tiebreaker because he has casting vote, but to vote on first instance, no, because he is not a MP. Okay. Now talking about the contingent executive role, under the Article 65 of the Indian Constitution, Vice President acts as a president under few circumstances. One is when the president dies. Second is the resignation, if the president resigns from his office, or even for that matter, if the president is impeached. We have a video on the impeachment process, so please do check that video to know the impeachment process. And then at the end, if the president is not able to get his work done, citing many any reasons, it could be health issue, whatever. So even that way, if the president's office becomes vacant, the vice president becomes the acting president, but only for max to max of 6 months. Okay, let's say the president resigns from his post, or the president is removed through the process of impeachment. The maximum time the vice president can act as a president is just 6 months, within which fresh elections has to take place for the post of president. So now we have to discuss about the election process and the qualifications of the vice president in detail or in specific. So the Article 66 of the Indian Constitution talks about the election process of the vice president, and in the first place, from the exam point of view, it is important to study or understand who is part of the electoral college who elects the vice president. So all the members of parliament from the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha, they get to vote for the election of the vice president, including the nominated members. This is also important because in the election process of the president, it is very important that nominated members do not get the opportunity to vote. And also, apart from the MPs of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, even the state legislative assembly, the MLAs, even they get to vote for the president election, which here in this case is not available. And voting system, we don't have the normal FPTP, the first past the post sort of voting system, but here we follow the proportional representation with single transferable vote system. Now talking about the eligibility, of course he must be an Indian citizen who is at least 35 years of age, and above all, the person should be eligible to become a member of Rajya Sabha, and last but not the least, he should not hold any office of profit. And one thing is missing, he also need to have, he should be nominated by at least 20 proposers and 20 seconders, either from the Lok Sabha or the Rajya Sabha. So I hope this is clear. And now talking about the main issue or the main mudda of today is the resignation. So Article 67 of the Indian Constitution talks about the resignation or the removal of the Vice President in specific. So Article 67A specifically talks about the resignation of the Vice President, much like how the Vice President Mr. Jagdeep Dhankar has resigned, which is in news. So it is basically with respect to the Article 67A. Now apart from that, we have another part, subclause B, Article 67 subclause B, which talks about the impeachment, the removal through impeachment. So what is the important thing here? First thing is the motion which is passed to remove the Vice President has to be passed with an effective majority in the Rajya Sabha. And now what is effective majority? It is the majority of the effective strength of the House. Let's say Rajya Sabha has 245 total strength, and let's also imagine that 5 seats are vacant. So what is the effective strength? It is 240. So the effective majority principle says that of this 240, half of 240, that is 121. So 121 members should vote. That is the majority. More than 50% of the effective majority, which is 121 of this case. So it has to be passed with an effective majority in Rajya Sabha, followed by just a simple majority, more than 50% of majority of members present and voting. This is the simple majority, which talks about only those people who are present and voting on that particular day. Effective majority, on the other hand, is with respect to the total strength of the House, excluding the vacancies. Okay. So I hope this is clear with respect to the resignation and removal of the Vice President. And now, to sum everything up, in this video we have tried and understood the process of election. He is elected indirectly. We don't directly elect the Vice President. We have seen his role as a chairman of the Rajya Sabha and also the President. The Vice President. And we have even discussed about his role as a bridge to the constitutional machinery that we India have. So in this video that we have done, we have tried and understood the role of the Vice President, and even we have discussed in short about the electoral process that undergoes in his selection. Of course, if you require a video separately on the election process of Vice President, especially with respect to the proportional representation through single transferable vote, it's a very complicated process. So we will make a video on that, provided you let us know in the comment section. So anyway, that's all for today's video. For more such informative content, please do subscribe Believers IAS Academy, and signing off, this is Madan Gopal. Thank you.